state event which scheduled to take place at the same venue.
So once the place was booked, you can't cancel it at that hour. It was just too late to cancel it. If anything, the state event had to be rescheduled. I mean, come on. So with this embarrassment, some heads must roll.
My name is Blessed Sogah, and thanks for your company. Former chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Afarijan, is raising an alarm over the alleged use of national security personnel in orchestrating electoral violence, raising questions over the pertinent incident threatening the country's democracy at the Constitutional Day public lecture. He indicates that the Electoral Commission cannot continue to use regional centers to collate presidential election results when it sparks confusion. Take a listen.
The fact that free and fair elections are essential to our democracy means that the Electoral Commission always has to deliver free and fair elections, whose outcomes are credible enough to be acceptable as a basis for forming a legitimate government. Of several factors that an Electoral Commission requires to be able to achieve free and fair elections, two are paramount. First, it must make solid preparations from voter registration through voting operations to the collation of votes and the declaration of results. In doing so, it must pay particular attention to points where the election process is vulnerable to adulteration. I'm sure that the Electoral Commission is aware that most of the election controversies in recent times have centered on the counting and collation of votes. For this reason, I consider the setting up of regional collation centers in our presidential election to be a retrogressive step because it increases the number of points at which results can be manipulated. I understand that we borrowed the practice from Nigeria, surprisingly at a time when Nigeria was seeking ways to send results straight from the polling stations to one location. It is to be noted that Parliament approved the practice. The second requirement for achieving free and fair election is a favorable external environment. In this, I have said many times that an electoral commission can make the best preparations possible for an election. But if the external environment is not right, the prospect for a free and fair election can be likened to washing a piece of white cloth in murky water.
Well, there's more from the former EC chairperson as he's backing calls for the amendment of the Constitution, noting that some state institutions are becoming structures of dubious integrity.
And they point in particular to the fact that we have succeeded to elect a government peacefully through the ballot box each of the specified periods during the 30 years. But I think that notwithstanding, there are clear signs of deconsolidation of our democracy. Over the years, we have become poorer as a nation and as a people, due mainly to pervasive corruption, particularly in the public sector and public life. Unfortunately, some of our key institutions are becoming institutions of dubious integrity. Increasingly, candidates who lose elections are alleging manipulation and refusing to accept the results. By and large, we have not been able to diffuse the principles of democratic behavior widely into our society. And there is a general lack of predictability in social life, which is a disincentive for proper behavior. Some people will say that these are perceived and not real ailments of our democracy. But that doesn't change the picture at all. Because for purposes of trust and confidence in public institutions and public office holders, perception is as important as reality. In any case, in all probability, some of these factors have contributed to the many calls to amend our Constitution. I think three things relating to amending the Constitution are worthy of note. First, the amendment process is likely to be a long one because it will require, as a first step, a referendum done on its own or attached to a general election. Secondly, because practically everything that goes awry in our country is somehow often blamed on the Constitution, it will be difficult to amend the Constitution to the satisfaction of the general.
Well, so that's the former chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Kojo Afari-Gyan, speaking at a public lecture today. And speaking of elections, the NDC also has their position on a number of happenings ahead of the 2024 election, because the national chairperson of the party, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, says former President John Mahama will not congratulate President Akufo-Addo for his 2020 election victory. President Akufo-Addo remarked during his Constitutional Day speech that he was still waiting for John Mahama to congratulate him. Addressing journalists in Accra a while ago, Johnson Asiedu Nketia charged the president to focus on getting justice for some 8 persons killed during the 2020 election and stop waiting for a message of congratulations from the former president.
We are conscious of the fact that our opponents who control the state machinery do not believe in fairness at all. That is why we are assuring Ghanaians that we will not rest, we will not tire, and we will not falter. We will not relent until every vote is cast, every vote is counted, and every vote is made to count by the Mensa-led Electoral Commission. We will not rest until we ensure every single Ghanaian is protected. The dastardly murder of 8 Ghanaians to make Akufo-Addo president in 2020 must not be repeated in 2024. The blood of the murdered 8 shall remain a stain on the Akufo-Addo Bawumia's second term record forever. Instead of President Akufo-Addo demanding congratulations from President John Dramani Mahama, as we are picking from the media, we suggest that he must listen to his predecessor when he says he's the only person who has a predecessor who will become his successor. 3 years after these tragic events, our president Nana Akufo-Addo has not uttered even a word of sympathy.
Well, Johnson Asiedu Nketia has also been warning the NDC will not countenance any scheme to rig the 2024 general elections, as he's been tracking on the Electoral Commission over their decision to stop using the indelible ink to mark persons who have already voted. Johnson Asiedu Nketia says the decision is a recipe for chaos.
Civil society, faith-based organizations coming to our office to appeal with us to ensure peace, they should put their efforts on making sure that the indelible ink stays. The EC must not make life easy for criminals to exploit our electoral process. Moreover, without indelible ink, a pliant EC official can allow a voter to vote whether or not the person is on the register at a particular polling station. And truth be told, there may be certain conduct that may be committed by temporary staff of the Electoral Commission. They are not permanent staff of the Electoral Commission, but they are recruited among us. But at times we will blame the Electoral Commission for what they have done.
And that's the chairperson of the National Democratic Congress. Well, still on election-related matters, he's been touching on the NDC-affiliated candidate in the recently held district-level elections who, in the view of the party, won the majority of Assembly and Unit Committee polls. Johnson Asiedu Nketia says this clearly shows that the New Patriotic Party is on its way out of office.
Thousands of persons affiliated to NPP have lost the district level elections miserably. The elections are non-partisan. It is illegal for any political party to seek to sponsor any candidate. But the identity of the candidates and participants are known. And so we have conducted a compilation of persons who contested from our ranks, who contested the district assembly elections. And I can tell you that the voters down there, if they know you to be a person affiliated to MPP, they vote you out. Yes, the MPP people have miserably lost the district assembly and unit committee elections to members, supporters, and affiliates of the NDC. Sincere political watchers and analysts know this is another evidence when the government is on its way out of office.
Johnson Asirinkites, the chairperson of the National Democratic Congress. Well, tonight, President Akufo-Addo's government has come under a barrage of criticisms following the cancellation of the New African Convention after the Office of the President explained that the decision stemmed from unforeseen state events which are scheduled to take place at the same venue. One of the key speakers expected to address yesterday's convention, Professor Patrick Lumumba, criticized the government over the decision. Several armed men forced a blockade at the Independence Square, preventing hundreds who had traveled from across the country and within from entering the venue last minute, leaving them stranded. Professor Lumumba accused government of foul play but served warning that the impeding revolution will continue. He's been also touching on a number of issues which we've captured in this wrap by my colleague James Aveji.
Power above us is cancelling the program. Who network power to them?
Anger, chaos and disappointment for thousands as heavily armed police and military men stormed the Independence Square in Accra, where patrons had gathered to participate in a convention called by the New Africa Foundation, a movement running on the wheels of the new force. A political movement which had until yesterday only had a mask as its identity.
Because you sent your men, Dampari, you sent your men, and then you have the voice, orders from above. You know the orders, and you know the powers. This thing is not in the remit. Is it not in the remit of the Constitution? Hasn't it been organized within the remit of the law? So how can you tell us cancelling the program?
The group had secured the venue 2 months ago and heavily advertised convention, a platform provided to address the challenges of Africa's development. Speakers invited for the program included Julius Malema, a no-nonsense South African politician who has courted several controversies in the South African Parliament for his strong stance on issues of corruption and underdevelopment.
Call is a call for African unity, not cooperation, collaboration or coexistence.
Other speakers included activist Dr. Lumumba, who served as the director of the Kenyan Anti-Corruption Commission for 7 years and known for his profound and critical speeches.
We are not at that venue. But is it not the wise to say, when the world serves you a lemon, ask not for an orange, make yourself lemonade? We are here therefore to say that the message will be alive and well.
Another speaker, Peter Obi, who took Nigeria by storm when he made significant inroads and nearly won the presidential elections there last year. Another anti-establishment African who believes current leaders are the cause of the continent's chronic economic problems.
What I always say is that it is due to one problem, leadership. It is failed leadership over the years that brought Africa where it is.
It was a lineup which promised to revitalize the Ghanaian youth and encourage them to vote out corrupt and non-performing leaders, with elections due in Ghana in December. Hundreds were seated in readiness for the thought-provoking speeches from the speakers until information got through that government had revoked the permission granted the New Africa Foundation for the convention. The organizers called it an embarrassment and said their guests and attendees were shocked and devastated. They immediately organized a news conference where the invited guests addressed the media.
I have no doubt in my mind that there is a conspiracy of sorts by the elements that it should happen the way it has happened. So this is not an occasion for lamentation. It is an occasion for redoubling our efforts. This is the occasion for which the English word serendipity
And a wrap there by my colleague James Aveji on the incident. A day after the event, Ghanaians have also been expressing their views about the incident. Stanley Niblew interacted with some of them.
Programs are organized, there's an approach where you put up programs. So if he took up the appropriate procedures, I believe he has a right to hold the program.
Peter Obi of Nigeria, Malima and Lumumba and Co. and Dr. Arikana, we came to listen to great minds like them. And so it baffles us so much to the extent that prior to some hours to the start of the program, we have been told that orders came from above that the program has been cancelled. We're like, what is happening? Even if they were coming to reveal somebody whom they claim it is having affiliation to the new billboard in town, the new force, Cheddar, I don't know the confirmation yet. But even if it is true, it's not democratic.
I traveled all the way from the Upper West region, precisely one municipal. I sat in car for almost 24 hours before I go to Accra here. So prior to the beginning of the program, some 15-20 minutes to the program, we were told that the program has been cancelled. Reasons being that no one could tell.
Well, a private legal practitioner, lawyer Martin Pebu, has his views also on the matter.
Absolutely, Manuel. Absolutely. There is no other rational conclusion. We've been extremely embarrassed. Why? Why do we have to do this? It's needless. It looks like every day we are sinking deeper and deeper. It's a shame.
So, who should be held responsible for this fiasco? Is it the presidency, the IGP, or the national security?
Everybody involved, because this is a breach of the organizers' Article 21 rights. Article 21 of the Constitution guarantees freedom of speech, all right? Yes, including freedom of assembly, etc. So once the place was booked, you can't cancel it at that hour. It was just too late to cancel it. A senate in the state event had to be rescheduled. I mean, come on. So with this embarrassment, like Kuku Ahidu says, some heads must roll. Yes, we have to. And those people you interview, you see how they were very clear, clarity in thought, etc. They should agitate more, because we have to hold some people accountable for this needless embarrassment.
Well, holding people accountable, are there any legal options available to the group?
Yes, so if they want to sue, definitely they may talk to their lawyers and look at it. You know, well, in this interview, it's not legal advice I'm giving, okay? But looking at what we've all heard in the media, to cancel that event at that time so as to make sure that it doesn't come on. No. It impinges on the freedom of speech. That is jealously guarded in Article 21 of our Constitution. You see, you don't wait when the attendees have showed up at the venue, etc. That's the time you're cancelling. No.
And Martin Pebu is a private legal practitioner. Time now for business. Emma Davis is here.
Business on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business, Kingdom Books and Stationery, Syntex Tanks, and Pepsodent Herbal and Charcoal. Let's settle for the details. I am Emma Davis. The Ghana cedi is expected to lose about 8.4% in value to the US dollar in the retail market this year. That's according to IC Research. It foresees the mid-dollar rate to the local currency at 13 cedis 10 pesos to the dollar. There is more in this report.
The expected depreciation of the cedi will be far lower than the about 15% recorded last year. In 2024, IC Research experts improved fundamentals as a result of expected multilateral inflows and appropriate monetary stance. This will partly offset election-related and external debt restriction uncertainties. The cedi enjoyed stability in December 2023, helped by the Bank of Ghana's monetary squeeze, the Cocoa Board syndicated loan, among others. Bloomberg neither classified the local currency in the best spot returns nor worst spot returns category in 2023. It rather pegged the unit at 11 cedis 95 pesos to the American greenback on December 29, 2023, the last day of trading in 2023. However, the Forex Bureau sold the cedi at 12 cedis 18 pesos to $1.
That was a Business Desk report. A Deputy Minister of Finance, Abena Osei Asari, is asking the public to be measured with demands for projects that are not listed in the 2024 budget. According to her, government is committed to spending within budget to avoid election overspending. However, it needs the support of the public. Speaking to Joy Business, Abena Osei Asari expressed confidence that there won't be budget overruns this year.
We are asking all of us to help government live within that expenditure, asking for projects because it's an election year when genuinely you know that this was not part and parcel of the budget, or asking for things that clearly you know that it will make government go over and above its budgets. We know it's an election year, but help us fit within the appropriation that Parliament will be given to us. And together, when we are able to stabilize the economy, it will bring about growth, and this growth will generate wealth and more employment for us. So this is the support we are asking from all and sundry, including the media people.
Abena Osei Asari is a Deputy Minister for Finance. Meanwhile, Director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Korte, is cautioning against politically influenced projects. According to him, governments must position the economy in such a way that project spending are within the budget. Professor Korte charged the Finance Minister to evaluate all capital projects before releasing funds for the execution.
Some of them are political economy issues. So if you want to spend, for instance, what kind of evaluation have you done to ensure that this expenditure is better than if you should spend somewhere? We've seen education. We've seen some classroom blocks being put in certain areas that do not have the population to accommodate them unless we put boarding house or boarding facility there. We've seen a lot of spending that goes on. Election spending, some of the roads that are constructed, some of the things that are done are politically motivated. I think we should go beyond some of the politically motivated, charged areas and do things in a less partisan manner.
Professor Peter Korte is the Director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research. That's all for business. I am Emma Davis.
And thanks, Emma, for the update in the world of business. But we may be homeless, but we're not dirty. This is the resounding message from the homeless community around the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, demonstrated through their monthly cleanup exercise initiative. In discussions with my colleague Caleb Osei-Mensah, these individuals conveyed their aspirations to have an area which is clean and beautiful. They also assured the Accra Metropolitan Assembly of their commitment to implement positive changes despite the current predicament. Caleb Mensah has more.
This initiative seeks to challenge stereotypes and showcase their commitment to maintaining a clean environment despite their homeless status. Joshua Odate, the assistant chairman of the street and homeless community, hopes this initiative will serve as a means for them to gain some favors.
First of all, I want to draw the attention of the AMA. It's not like we are junkies or we are homeless. It's something brought us here. So if you are sleeping here, we have to clean the environment so that we will not get some disease like malaria and those things.
Clean environment is a key to a healthier you. So keep it tidy.
And that's Caleb Mensah's report read to you. Now, a 27-year-old Esther Donko travelled from the Ashanti region to Accra seeking greener pastures. Unable to find a job, she's left with no option but to spend her nights at the mercy of the weather on the pavement at the Kwame Nkrumah interchange. To survive, she is forced into a relationship with a driver's mate, resulting in an unplanned pregnancy. Today, we shed light on the struggles of Esther Donko and others like her who remain resolute in the face of adversity, hoping for a better future.
In the heart of the Kwame Nkrumah Circle interchange in Accra are many homeless people resting on the pavements. Among those who rest here is 27-year-old Esther Donko. She is pregnant but has never been to the hospital for prenatal care. Her dream is to get a free doctor's appointment to know how her fetus is faring.
I need help. so that I can go to the hospital.
Esther relocated to Accra from Kumasi seeking greener pastures. She found out that the grass in a part of Accra was any greener.
I came to Accra to find a job, but I have not gotten any since I came. I came to work as a chopper assistant.
Her desperation to survive led her to rely on a driver's mate. The outcome is an unplanned pregnancy.
Sleep under the overhead bridge and stay with a driver's mate who feeds me. The same guy got me pregnant.
Esther says she's skilled in breeding and hopes to find a job that can help her make money to care for her unborn child. 20-year-old Faustina Nuno from South Point, the central region, also shares a similar story.
I followed a friend to come here. I left home at SHS2 because I was being maltreated at home. I have been here for almost a year. I thought I would get help when I come here, but life is not easy out here.
Faustina says she regrets leaving home but cannot go back empty-handed. Esther and Faustina are counting on kind hearts to support them in fulfilling their dreams this year. Their stories echo the common struggles of the homeless. Any kind gesture might stitch their despair and give them hope for the new year. Prince Kwame Kudoga's report for Joy News.
What a touching story. And that's all we have for you in this package of the news at 6 here on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra. This bulletin also came to you on Laugh 99.5 in Kumasi and affiliates with over 30 affiliates across the country. There's more news for you at myjoyonline.com. I am Blessed Sogah. Enjoy the rest of the evening.